What is up, everyone? This is Omegabalmung here with another comic book pickups of the week. This is episode 23, 24, 21 of those. But I'm back again, and of course, like I said, I want to go through the format again. I'm actually showing the new comic books of the week, I should say, and of course, I'll pick three that I would recommend for you guys to pick up, or three books that I actually enjoyed of this week. And of course, I also have some back issues books that I picked up too. So anyways, let's get started here. So first is one of the Marvel 100th anniversary. There is, last week it was Fantastic Four. This week is, of course, Spider-Man. And then I think next week is, I want to say X-Men or something like that. Or I can't remember who was going to be on that. I think it might be X-Men. But reading through it, it's pretty cool. It's kind of, they really don't tell you what is going on in the book here. They kind of just throw you in there. You have Kingpin, and it's because, of course, you see up here, it kind of shows you actually what it is. Kingpin takes over the Venom suit and then wreaks havoc. And it has a pretty cool artwork. So I really enjoyed just the artwork itself. But the storyline was a little bit next up is Captain Marvel issue 5. Of course, it continues the Captain Marvel series. Carl Danvers, of course. If you remember what happened last week, I don't really want to spoil anything in this one. So, pretty cool, pretty awesome stuff. Next up is from Chaos, and also Dynamite, I guess. Chaos Dynamite, or Dynamite. It's actually issue 1 of Chastity. And I know nothing about any of the Chaos characters, so I fortunately can't help you with that. But this tells a pretty cool story about the main character herself and what she's kind of gone through. And then at the end, it kind of starts off, as you can see, she used to be a gymnast. She used to be in gymnastics and stuff like that. And then at the end, something happens to her, and we'll see what happens. Next up is Armor Hunters issue 2. Like I said, I haven't read any of the, what are these, Valiant books. None of the Exo Man of War and what's that? Oh man, Unity and things like that. So I have really nothing to say about any of these books here. But you do get cool little fight scene between Exo Man of War and this character here. So next up is Batgirl issue 33. I think this is a variant cover too. So I'm trying to pick them up as I can. I don't remember where I bought this one from, but maybe it's just been my local comic book shop. But of course, next up is Fantastic Four issue 7. This one picks up right after issue 6. If you remember, Ben, or the Thing, has confronted Johnny about what happened, and it's a pretty cool story. I mean, you kind of look at what he was mad about, and if you remember from the last one, what Johnny kind of just playing around with, or messing around with what's supposed to cure the Thing. So, and then it turned him all kind of funky looking and all that. So if you remember, the Watcher's eyeball kind of revealed that to him, because he was one of the Avengers by, not Avengers, but one of the people by, I don't remember what his name was, when he pulled out the Watcher's eyeball and kind of showed everybody that. So and it's a continuation, and then with a pretty solid ending to that. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more in issue 8, and of course we will probably. Next up is Detective Comics issue 33. This one is actually, I want to say, the 4th part of the Icarus storyline. You have Batman pretty much going off, trying to find who the killer is, or who the people are dealing these drugs to people, and we learn a little bit more about who has killed. I forgot what's her name, but and then of course it just has awesome artwork, awesome coloring. I mean, the coloring in this book is just phenomenal. That's all I'm gonna say. Pretty cool stuff. Next up is the new 52. The new book of the week, I should say, a new series. Is from the DC universe. It is Grayson, issue 1. This one is, of course, if you guys remember what happened to Dick Grayson with Nightwing, and this one he kind of takes over as a different role. This is more of a kind of spy, kind of movie type, book. I'm not a big fan of that too much, so unfortunately, it's still a pretty good book, but at the same time, my personal taste, I'm just not a big fan of any of the spy, James Bond type deal. So this is kind of cool, but it has a lot of promise to see if it gets better. Hopefully it does. I mean, it has hopefully it has a lot of leg room for that. But I mean, it's still a pretty cool book. If you like any of that spy things, spy kind of movie and things like that, it'll be a pretty good read. But I'm more into the superheroes, so unfortunately. Next up is Justice League United, and of course, like I said, this is issue 3, so I think this was one of the variant covers too. So, and of course, next up is Marvel Lantern issue 4. I think this might be the end of it. I think either that or maybe there might be one more. But of course, this picks up after John Stewart becomes a Yellow Lantern, and then kind of goes around, fighting Superman, and Superman finally has given up that Green Lantern power. He's now back to Superman, and everybody across the world is pretty much fighting against Yellow Lanterns, because you have your villains that have become Yellow Lanterns, like anybody. Like there's one scene where I think like it might have been the last Green Lantern or Smallville Lantern. Where it goes into Arkham and it summons up all these villains like Mr. Freeze, Bane, Ivy, and Scarecrow. They become Yellow Lanterns, and this one you just see more of that, where they're fighting against the Lanterns. They're fighting against trying to get back. I think this is actually the end of it. If I remember right, they kind of dissolved that at the end, but it's still a pretty cool series. I mean, it's a good read. It's pretty cool to see Superman as a Lantern. And this one issue itself has a lot of action in it. A lot of action. Next up is Infinity Man and the Forever People. This is probably one of my other pretty cool series that I'm starting to like more and more. If you remember what happened last week, or not last week, but the last time, you have the characters here going in a boom tube to Earth, because they're there to protect Earth from disasters and things like that, because Earth doesn't have any. It's kind of a immature planet and it needs to be protected. So, and then you have I don't remember what they're called, but they're like bug guys, insect guys who kind of have taken over this area, and pretty much they go there and they pretty much battle it out, and it's pretty cool stuff. So. I gotta see what is going on in here, because at the end you actually see, I think it was the Infinity Man, and he kind of just comes in. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll help you guys out." So not for the main characters, but for the bad guys. So we'll see what happens. Next up is another issue 1 from DC Universe, or the DC books. It is the new Suicide Squad issue 1. This one, it's okay. It's kind of weird. I mean, it literally says Amanda Waller in here. As you can see, they have taken out a few guys like Boomerang, and I don't remember who was in the Suicide Squad, but and then they added Black Mantis and Joker's daughter, of course. At the same time, and of course, Deathstroke. And at the same time, in here, it's kind of the same thing that what Amanda Waller said was, why would you want to pair up these character with with characters already. They're like Deathstroke is pretty much kind of like Deadshot, who kind of uses guns. The thing is, of course, Deathstroke is pretty good in hand-to-hand and melee type situations too. But at the same time, he is good at shooting from a distance and and things like that. And then you got Joker's daughter, who's also Harley. Or not also Harley. It's kind of like Harley, where she's psychotic and she does all that. And this is kind of weird. Just like what Amanda Waller said, I think the coolest character would probably be the Black Mantis. He's freaking awesome. So, but it's all a pretty good read. A lot of action into this one. You still got to figure out why did they put that team together. I guess they have something kind of in the scheme of things. Like Waller said, why would you want to pair these characters who already kind of are similar? It happens. Futures End, issue 10. Of course, we got to keep going with the Futures End. It gets a little bit more better as the books go, because you get more deeper into the series, and hopefully it does kind of flourish out a bit. This one's a little bit mashed. Like I said, it is a weekly, so I guess you could have its up and downs. If it's only like an 8-part series, or I think it's an 8-part series from the original Sin, you kind of have to rush it a bit, because you kind of have to throw everything at it, because it'll eventually end. For Futures End, I don't remember how many series are going to be in this one, but like I said, this is the down week for Futures End. Next up is the original Sin, Thor and Loki, the 10th Realm, issue 1, or it is a 5.1 from the original Sin series. And this one, if you remember what happened in, I think, issue 3 or 2, I think it was, you have, I think it was when the guy reveals all of the sins, or pretty much everything, when he holds up the Watcher's eyeball. If you remember, Thor is like, "Oh, I have a sister." Well, this is pretty much the book where he and Loki goes out and find that 10th realm, which is pretty cool stuff. So we'll have to see what happens, what kind of mischief they get into, I guess. But it's a pretty cool read. So that is it for that one. This is Superman and Wonder Woman issue 10 with another variant cover for that one. We kind of have to go through these quickly now. And then the Huntress and Power Girl World's Finest issue 25. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more of this. I know they're having this Earth 2 and World's Finest kind of cross over. We're going to see that, because this kind of shows they actually build the time machine, and they get sent back into their world, and it just ends there. So and I was reading that they have like a crossover, so it's going to be cool. We're going to see some pretty cool stuff, hopefully. Next up is the last one of this week, the new pickups of this week, other than the top three ones that I'm going to go through next. Birds of Prey, issue 33. Of course, the Birds of Prey are going up against the Suicide Squad, which is not this Suicide Squad, not the new Suicide Squad, but the older Suicide Squad. So, and we get a little bit of action, not a little bit, you get a lot of action in this book. You have, pretty much Canary going against Amanda Waller, Batgirl. They all fight each other, so pretty awesome stuff. And next up is the top 3 books of this week for me, not for everybody, but for me. This is first from Image Comics. This is Death Vigil, issue 1. I actually kind of enjoyed reading it. The artwork is, I think is phenomenal. You have the main character who dies and becomes he kind of works for death now, and he goes around pretty much protecting people from necromancers and things like that. Any oddly world, creatures that come out through these gates that the necromancer kind of releases. And it's pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. Likes the artwork. and kind of want to see what's going to happen next because of what's happened to the lady. I don't know if I could. Lady that's on the bottom here. So, pretty cool stuff. Whenever they die, they get these white hair, and it's pretty cool stuff. Next up is Spider-Man 2099. This is actually issue 1 from Marvel. This is pretty much, it tells you the story of Miguel, I guess. I don't remember, O'Hara? Miguel? Something. Don't remember his name, but his first name at least is Miguel. This is Spider-Man 2099. Of course, he is stuck back in 2014, coming from 2099, and he gets to fight against a, I don't know if it's an officer or some kind of time cop or something like that, from 2144 or something like that. He's come back to try to kill Spider-Man 2099, and pretty much he fights against him pretty much throughout the half the book here. And I would say it's pretty cool stuff to learn a little bit more about 2099, Spider-Man 2099, I should say. I've seen him a few times. I'm not a regular to his books or anything like that, but it's Spider-Man. Spider-Man's always pretty cool stuff. So next up is Shudder. Of course, I have to give it up for Shudder. It's always one. It's a very weird book. Very, very awesome artwork too, but at the same time it's weird. Like I said, you have, man, this is good. Like I said, this is just a weird book. You have, was her name Kate? I think so. And now she's back at home, and she finds out that she has a sibling. So, and then at the same time, she meets up with her, I think, her nanny or something like that, and she kind of tells a story of how I met your dad, and this is this and this is this, and now it's actually your turn to take over the mantle. So and then she's like, hey, I can't take over the mantle. That's the reason why I got away from it, because I don't really want to do any of these. So, and then like I said, you meet the brother, and actually I think it's gonna be like a cycle. Something she can't leave. It's going to be passed on to her, maybe her kids, and whatever like that. So, pretty cool to read. And of course, that is it for. This is actually Shudder issue. Was it 4? Yeah, 4. So, if you haven't picked up any of the other Shudder books, this is actually pretty awesome. Awesome book from Image. So, next up, of course, is the back issues. I don't have much that came. I actually have some more books coming in, but I couldn't. They didn't come back in time or come in time. So I picked up a few from the comic book store when scrounging around, and I found a bookshop that my sister usually goes to buy books, and she's like, "Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of comics in there." I went in there and I bought a few books. There's a lot of books just laying around everywhere. It's almost like it's like a house, but it's a bookstore. There's like comic books downstairs. They're all just downstairs are pretty much like the cheaper things, and they have like cases for Silver Age books and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool stuff. Kind of cramped together. It's kind of hard to get books out, mostly when you're a bigger person like I am. Where we're like, oh my gosh, I got to squeeze through all this stuff. But anyways, first off is Tales of the New Titans. So this is actually for Cyborg. This is one of the 4 series. That goes through mostly all the Titans, like Nightwing, I think Starfire, and I don't remember, maybe not Wonder Girl, Donna Troy. I think it is. Next up is this is actually not mine, but I guess I could add it in there. This is my brother's Green Lantern Corps 56. He's a big fan of Sinestro, so he bought that because there's a Sinestro on the cover, and he said it's actually a pretty good read because Sinestro's OP, and that's kind of true. Next up is The Wake from Vertigo. This is issue 1. I don't think this is the first. I don't think this is the first print. I think it might be like second or third or something like that. Like I said, I've been looking for the first issue for a while, and I'm like, oh wow, I don't have to order this. I was just kind of looking through all their books. And I'm like, oh wow, I can't believe I cannot. I don't have to order the book itself. So pretty awesome. I've been looking for it for a while now. So like I said, it's been for a few months now. I've been just because I don't really want to order it. I guess I really just go and buy. They have a few. Everybody, they always have like every bookstore or comic book store I went to is like, oh, you have 2 through I think 6 or something like that, whatever it's on right now. Next up is Superman issue 226, and I decided to pick up this one because I'm a big fan of this cover itself. It's like, let's see what it says. Red Kryptonite has turned Superman into a human King Kong. Now he's reliving the giant ape's last stand, and you can see all the planes coming at him, shooting at him. It's just funny stuff. It's just very campy, and you know that's usually what happens when you have comic books back then. You don't see that much stuff going on with, you know, the newer comic books. I mean, you look at like this one. I mean, he's breaking through chains. He's not, you know, being King Kong or anything like that. So, anyways, that is it for this week. Talking about that, I do need to get some Mylar bags, some Silver Age Mylar bags, put some of my Silver Age books in, so that's my next step to do. But anyways, that is it for this week. Like I said, I've actually bought a lot of books, just because there's a lot of newer books that are coming out. Hopefully I could slim that down a bit, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video here. Hopefully you guys go and subscribe to my channel. I am at $4.99, so at 500 subscribers, if you're a gamer, of course, you will get a, it'll be a drawing to see who gets a $20 like PSN card, Xbox Live card, Steam card. Is there a Wii U or a Wii or, you know, Nintendo eShop card or something like that? If there is one, it's a $20 one. So all I need is 1 subscriber, and you guys get a chance to win a $20 card for any of those 4 or whatever you guys want. Card. So hopefully you guys, you know, subscribe to my channel. Hopefully you guys hit the like button, like my videos, to show me that, you know, you guys actually, you know, like the videos. I don't want to be making videos that nobody likes. I'm just joking about that. But anyways, I'll see everybody next week.